real estate rock stars. This is Amy Kwan, your voice in real estate. Today we will be talking about how to afford a home. I know this is honestly one of the most craziest topics that I hear and one of the biggest questions I get. Just, Amy, how do you afford a home in Toronto? It's such a crazy market and it's, the price points are crazy, and with the interest rate, and there's so many else that can go against you. And what can you do to make sure that you get a home so that you don't have to move around and all this stuff? And here are some tips that you might want to consider doing so that you can afford your first home. Let's dive right into it. The very first thing I would say is to work. Honestly, in Canada, you just have to, income is so important in getting your pre-approval. It's literally one of the only things that they will look at, that and credit score and everything else. But those two are like the biggest things, right? So generally, you will get pre-approved for about 4 to 5 times your income. So let's say that you're making 100,000, you're probably going to get pre-approved around $400,000, so $400,000, right? And you got to think of, on top of that, you have to pay for your closing costs in this video here that I made last week, and the furnitures and things like that. All the extra costs, right? So that's the 400,000, and then the money that you have saved up, and then you can purchase a home. So within that range of 4 to 500,000, you're probably going to get about 1-bedroom condo in Toronto. But regardless, so that is basically what you would be getting. But one of the fastest way of getting a good pre-approval amount is obviously your income. So that would be your first bet. Just be really good at, try to really work on your skill and where you are so that you can up your game and up your income, and then that'll help with your pre-approval amount. Now, the second thing I would suggest is get a side hustle. So I might make a video. If you guys are interested, please comment down below. But I would suggest getting a second job or third job, or any side hustle that you can add to your income. So it's not just a company paying you, but you also might you might be really good at arts and crafts, and you can, or very good at design, and even though you might be, a doctor, and then you want an extra income for a potential home, then you might want to do a little side thing, sort of like a hobby, but you also make income by it, digital design or something like that, which is a big need in the industry currently. Or let's say you are a art teacher and you have you love being with kids or something, and you can teach, you could go to the weekend, when you have free time on weekends, there might be something that you can work with kids and stuff like that. So something like that where something you enjoy and you love doing, you can also turn that into an income making activities and kind of call that a second job. So I am a real estate agent full time, but I also have a little enjoyment in my week by teaching kids music, right? So that is sort of my second job. Now, the third one I would say would be to make sure that you buy a good property. Location. Okay? I've learned it the hard way through my investing and my family's investing, that location really oh my goodness, guys, listen to every word in terms of this. Location means at least half of your whole transaction, okay? Make sure that you get a property in a desirable location, and that will really do half of the job, honestly. Making sure that you're purchasing in a good location, making sure the budget is correct for you so that there's no complications in closing, making sure that you have like the parking spots or whatever you need for you in your home, and like amenities, like making sure that all of those boxes check off, or most of them do, is very crucial. And choosing and looking into good deals for you would be very, very beneficial. And make sure you get a professional help. Wink. That was a wink. That it doesn't work very well with Amy, but that tried. Um, Looking into a good property and purchasing a good property can go a long way. Even though I've seen people that have purchased homes at a good year, right? At a good time, but they just can't sell, or they can't, like, it just seems like they're having such a hard time with the property in general, even though they bought it the right time, that they just are having a really hard time, if that makes sense. So something that might be worth thinking about for you guys is that, yes, timing is important, but what you buy is more important. And then the fourth thing I would say is probably looking into the timing of the market. I am the biggest believer in time in the market instead of timing the market. If you haven't heard of that, it basically means that it is better for you to be in the market and like have a property, or like stocks usually, in the market, and like holding that value for a long time, than trying to time it in one of the days or what of the year or whatever the time period, and trying to go in at the very bottom. The reason for that is because nobody has a crystal ball. I mean, you know what? I mean, I can't say nobody has it, but a lot of people do not. Most people do not have a crystal ball where they can predict everything. And they may not be able to predict a lot of the time the biggest names in the stock market, the real estate. They don't have a crystal ball either, and they can't tell you the very bottom and when that is and when you should buy. But if you buy it when you can, and then you kind of hold it for a long period of time, especially in Toronto, it's been proven that the value has gone up over time, for a very long time if you hold it, right? So something to think about there. However, if it's your first time buying and you just need to make sure you get in when you can, I would say try to look into the history, try to make sure that you're not going at the very peak. I mean, I would say that the peak has kind of passed, and we're in a sort of a slower market now. And but if you're planning on purchasing, I would say that try to look into it. You're probably not going to be able to tell, nobody's going to be able to tell you when the bottom is, but it might be good for you to think about. There you have it. If you have any questions or any concerns, or just want to talk about Toronto real estate, reach out to me. I will leave my contact information down below so you can reach out to me whenever or however you'd like. Hey, listen. I know it can be such a crazy time, and in general, to afford a home. I've heard so many people say, hey Amy, I'm just gonna wait until the market gets better. And then even when it does get better, they can't make a decision because they feel like it can even go down more. And after that, after it has gone, like it has bounced up again, they can't buy anymore. So it's sort of like a cycle. I know my family and I have made those mistakes before. So if you're able to afford and you want to thrive in real estate and make sure that you make money off of real estate and have that become one of your income making assets, or you just want a home that you can feel really stable with, then I would suggest looking into buying a property. And getting your first home, honestly, is probably the most difficult thing to do. And then getting your second, third, and fourth, it'll get easier each time. I swear. And if you guys have any and just about that, it's not always easy. I understand that. But if you have any questions and you want to talk, I'm here. And until next time, 안녕!